Patriots, prepare yourselves because you are about to see Charlie Kirk give a lecture to two college socialists who clearly need it. But I will say there is some nuance to this interaction that I think you guys will find interesting. So we're going to get right into it, folks, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But first, do me a big favor here. Like our video and share it around so we can keep bringing you guys these fun videos. Please. All right, guys, do it. All right. That's how I get paid. All right. So thank you so much. We appreciate it. As always, folks, I'm your host, Arian, and this is Resist the Mainstream.
If you have a cure to diabetes,
yeah,
wouldn't you want to sell that cure in the marketplace?
I would want to distribute it to everyone for free.
But
that's why I'm in the field, because I would.
Can you name one example of one thing that's ever been given out for free by the government? Because there's nothing that's free. It's paid for by somebody at some point at some level of distribution.
Okay, I mean, how about Jeff Bezos, who has like $50 billion or something? He can afford to pay for that, right?
How did Jeff Bezos get his money?
By exploiting his laborers and not paying them enough.
If he's exploiting them, why do they work for him?
Because they don't have another opportunity to get a job.
But there's more job openings available in America than actual people we have to fill the jobs. There's 7 million job openings. People at Amazon say they love their jobs. Their wages are going up. They get health care. They get health insurance. They get promoted.
I mean, you cannot honestly believe. Like, can you really, in good faith, say that that's a good job that people like?
Have you ever used Amazon?
No, I actually no. I don't buy from them.
You use Starbucks.
Okay.
So Starbucks, that's a billionaire. You know how rich Howard Schultz is? He's worth $5 billion. So you're participating in his exploitation.
Starbucks has better working conditions for their employees, though.
Well, how do you know that?
Because they have like a $15 minimum wage.
All right, I think there is some nuance here that is important, and I'm going to go out on a limb and be a little bit unpopular, okay? Sure, people can technically, leave a job if they want to. Yeah, I get that. But it's not really that easy. Charlie Kirk mentions that there are more job openings than people working them. Yeah, I mean, that's overall true, but it's not that simple. I mean, just look at the white collar market, for instance. Look at computer science. All right, we have American college graduates who are top cream of the crop graduates in terms of scientific studies, and they cannot get a job in tech anywhere. Okay, and I'm not just making this up. If you don't believe me, go talk to these people. And often you have this issue of H-1B visas, which, spoiler alert, Republicans generally speaking want to expand. Okay, they want to bring even more cheap labor in, often from India. And then, you always hear this, propagandists talking about in America, we need to have the most skilled, all right? We need to be competitive with China, all this kind of nonsense people push. If you actually look at the average H-1B worker, it's usually some kind of low-pay tech job, and they're undercutting an American wage, all right? That's just the facts. Look into it. And there are other types of visas that allow for the certain exceptional skills that apparently Americans just are too dumb to have or something. So we have other types of visas as well, but people fail to mention that in the conversation, which is a little bit bizarre. And let's not forget, guys, Donald Trump, right? And I'm sure, look, we're all happy about him winning, but he has said himself that we want to staple a green card to the diploma of every single person who graduates college. Is that really something we want to do when you have a historically bad economy? I think these are questions worth asking, and that the MAGA base needs to speak up about these things before it's too late. Now, I will give Charlie some credit here, okay, because he does have a point. It is rather silly that we have a bunch of college socialists tweeting on their iPhones while inside Starbucks about how much they hate capitalism. That really just doesn't make any sense.
So Starbucks billionaire good, Amazon billionaire bad. Just so we're sure.
I would not like either of them to be billionaires.
Then why are you buying Starbucks? You're participating in the market economy.
Well, it's impossible to buy things without participating in the market economy.
You could have went to a farmer's market. You could have bought something outside.
There's no farmer's market here.
There's no local coffee in Columbus at all.
No, not near my house.
There's no non-billionaire coffee distributors.
No, and I think that just
you could have gotten local. Huh? You could have gone That Guy Donuts. They don't serve Starbucks coffee. The point is, it's very easy to critique billionaires while you swish your Starbucks latte back and forth. Made possible by a guy that wanted to become a billionaire. Why? Because of a profit motive.
This was made possible by the workers who made it, not by some guy.
No, it's actually made possible by you, the consumer. The workers wouldn't have a job if you didn't buy their product. And guess what? It took Howard Schultz to risk everything, take out 2 mortgages on his house, to start Starbucks in Seattle on a total idea when people thought he was nuts and crazy, so that you can sip your latte and tell me how much you hate capitalism.
I actually never said that.
You said the workers should own the means of production, and you said that you want government to run healthcare. So.
I didn't say that either, although I do believe that the workers should own the means of production.
Denying they're socialist, but then saying just about everything that aligns them with the socialist. Typical commie tactic. What can I say? Guys, I have a treat for you. Luckily for us, this is not the only interaction Charlie Kirk had with the socialist that we are going to play today. We have something really good coming right now.
I just think it's pretty disgusting that you referred to AOC as the bartender, because that job is just as important as manipulating money on the stock
Is
market.
it factually
so-
inaccurate?
What?
Is it factually inaccurate that she was a bartender?
No, that's
Why is it
accurate.
disgusting?
What?
So why is it disgusting?
You can call the
I think
president a
it's-
billionaire real estate developer. I don't care.
I think it's demeaning to her by just calling her a bartender. You know?
It's demeaning to talk about someone's work history.
No, but the way you said it made it sound like that's
Okay,
job
I used to
means
bartend
less-
and
okay.
waitress. So what's your question?
Okay. Never mind. But
Yeah, it's a simple job description. So I don't get exactly what the guy's point is. And he says, maybe he's suggesting Kirk is being patronizing. I'm guessing because Kirk is making a point that she doesn't really have any qualifications to be in the position she's in. Well, yeah, that's just true. Okay, there's always this thing about, you got to respect like the lower working class people. Yet the Democrat Party, and I understand that this kid is not the Democrat Party, okay? I get that. He's not a living embodiment of it. But they will actively push policies that actively harm the working people of this country and then sit there and demean them and talk to them about a certain way. Then, they'll play, you're being so mean to the working people as soon as you say that people should work hard or something. It's also stupid. It doesn't even make sense. Now, like I said before, she isn't qualified, all right? She was just a bartender. I'm sure people counter by saying, well, Donald Trump was just a businessman and Hillary Clinton was a lawyer and she was more well qualified. And, I think there's some nuance there too, because at the end of the day, Donald Trump was a very successful businessman who built real empires in the private sector. What did Hillary Clinton ever accomplish in the private sector? Exactly, right? I'm just saying. And also, being too qualified, arguably, is not a good thing, right? Hillary Clinton, as some would say, was the most qualified presidential candidate in American history or something like that because she held all these positions in government or whatever. Guess what? Her being a sneaky, crafty, and cunning lawyer doesn't actually mean she's going to be a good president in terms of what's going to make the nation better. She might be good at fudging the law, so it works in her favor, but, I think that's self-explanatory why that's an issue.
also, I was wondering, Candace, why you didn't debate Kyle Kalinske from Secular Talk. What he says is that he was in coordination with the people at Politicon, and they actually said that you weren't ready for debates.
Okay, so this is one of the weirdest internet rumors I've ever heard about myself. I didn't attend Politicon. I didn't attend Politicon because I was in my sister's wedding. So I don't know why someone thought I was debating someone in California when I had a wedding in Connecticut, but I never, it's just an internet myth.
Will you do it next year?
I don't really, who's Kyle Kalinske?
Yeah, it's kind of like punching down for Candace, to be honest. So
I'd like to debate
I
AOC.
respectfully disagree.
Kyle Kalinske really fell off. For those of you who might not know him, he's this very weird left-wing commentator who kind of bills himself as like, he's above it all. He'll call out his own side, even though he really doesn't half the time. He had an account called Secular Talk. Talk about like an arrogant name, Secular Talk. He's too good for those dummy religious people.
I'll take a Democrat candidate. We're not, I mean,
I talked to Kylie's and I talked to him on stage. We debated. It was fine. It was fun.
just
But
kind of like
Candace says,
trolling
Yeah.
a little bit. So there's,
Also, Mike Gravel 2020.
thank you for your question.
Okay, that was interesting. Now, I do want to add something, though. There is a fun fact about Mike Gravel here, because although he was a raging leftist and had a lot of crazy ideas, he did do one great thing. He actually put the Pentagon Papers in public record. All right, so we have Mike Gravel to thank for that. Fun fact. I respect that. There are so many dirty secrets that our government has kept from us that we ought to know. With all that being said, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. What do y'all think? Please be sure to comment below, let us know what you like about the clip, what kind of stuff you want to see in the future, and we'll see everybody again soon. God bless.